Finally, we are out of Louisiana. The storm is gone. It's still cold. It's like 29 degrees this morning, but we've moved on from Louisiana and the vision quest continues. Basically, we escaped that winter storm with nothing but a little frosty ice on the car this morning, which is now over, and hopefully we will not hit any on our progress further westward. My original plan for this vision quest was to do a lot of back roads in small towns. Today will mostly be the interstate. Some cool things to see. I hope we get to see if the daylight favors us. But I am content that if nothing else happens today, we have at least crossed another state boundary, one step closer to home. And of course, only one step, because Texas is an awfully big place. It'll take a little while to cross, but if I can even just make it to San Antonio tonight, I'll be a happy camper. Normally, there's a little swamp tour if you stop at this rest area, but it's roped off today because of the icy deck. That's okay with me as long as there's no ice on the road. I met a really nice guy in there named Bruce who recognized the hat, gave me some condolences on recent events. I thought I was in trouble at first. I was like, hey, after the mall situation in Louisiana, you never can tell. All right, we're pretty much right here. Got a lot of Texas to cross today to get to San Antonio, and then a lot more in the succeeding days. Let's do it. Let's hit the road. All right, got about 80 miles to go to the second most Texas-y thing there is, next to the Alamo. And I just saw a sign, only 857 more miles to El Paso. Gotta be honest with you, I love Louisiana, but I'm loving seeing the swampy ground give way to firmer terrain. All right, all the way out of Louisiana and 80 miles into Texas, I've made it to Baytown and to Buc-ee's, a Texas institution. It may have spread to other states now, but Buc-ee here is in fact a Texas native. In fact, it's probably somewhere here between Houston and New Orleans I first came across Buc-ee's. It was just a regular gas station back then. Nice small gas station with a cartoon beaver. And now, as we witnessed at the Buc-ee's in Georgia just a couple of days ago, it is something much more. Look at all these Buc-ee's Mardi Gras items for sale. Pretty awesome. Pretty vast in here. Buc-ee is ready for Valentine's Day. It's got some cool shades on there. But I'm most excited to come to a Texas Buc-ee's because there is indeed Texas Buc-ee merchandise. Look at this little guy. You know what he's saying? He's saying, don't mess with Texas. Look at this over here. Serving the traveler since 1982. I thought Buc-ee's origin went way back before that, but this says 82. And who am I to disagree? I might have to snag me one of these sick Buc-ee's t-shirts. I love how they have pieces of old cars in here. Ooh, and even their own Buc-ee's Baytown postcards. Oh look, you can play Buc-ee ball now. I love that there's a bumper sticker on the front of this truck that says, howdy. And old Buc-ee's been a pretty busy beaver, growing the family all the time. Dude, do they sell these big plush? I mean, look at the size of that Buc-ee. I love that they have everything from Buc-ee's boxer shorts to Buc-ee birthday candles. What is it about seeing all the beaver items that makes me want to just redecorate my entire house and personality with beavers galore? I want one of these at my next birthday party. Party time! Buc-ee's has more items than you could possibly ever shake a stick at, but I make no secret of the fact that my favorite thing at Buc-ee's is the coffee. And so that is what I'm going to grab. Dude, this place is so freaking huge. It is almost unbelievable to me that I saw it as a tiny, regular-looking gas station back in the day. All right, I got to decide on a Buc-ee's Texas shirt. I think I'm going to grab one of these ones right here. And then I've got to keep going. I'd love to stay at Buc-ee's all day. Sometimes I do. But I got to make my way westward. All right, time for me to get on the road again, which is what Dancing Buc-ee is singing. Cheers, you old beaver nugget. All right, time to grab some fuel and continue the journey. This particular Buc-ee's offers gas for under $2 a gallon. As it is, what am I paying? $2.13 or 14 cents per gallon as it is. It's $1.14 if you get the car wash, which it advertises as the longest car wash you've ever seen. I'm not seeing it at all from this vantage point. I probably should have gone for that deal, honestly. This old gal could use a little rinse. But I try never to get a car wash on a road trip. You know, you earn that dirt. By the way, it is now 50 degrees outside, which compared to the last few days feels like a freaking tropical paradise. I just wanted to see the car wash over here. I don't know if this is the longest car wash I've ever seen, but it's fairly long. Good job, Buc-ees. Just rolling through the greater Houston area first. Quite a bit of traffic here coming up ahead. Hopefully after that, we have open roads. Open roads! Dude, it's been many years, about 19 years since I've set foot in Houston. I was hoping to have some time to do it on this trip, but I guess it'll have to wait. The wonders of Houston are saved for another time. Dude, today has become the unofficial Tour of Buc-ee's day. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Good old Buc-ee, keeping me supplied with coffee and restrooms and fuel. What more could I ask for? All right, it's pretty late in the day. I've been driving about 5.5 hours, 6 hours today, not counting the stops. But I've turned off onto some Texas back roads out here near the town of Seguin. I hope that's how you pronounce it. And lo and behold, some rolling hills, some cows are dotting the landscape. I even saw a couple of guys going down the road on horses. So now I feel like we are in central Texas proper, south central-ish. And there's supposedly a bucket list stop of mine up this road. I've never been to it, heard about it for years. We'll see what happens. All right, it's supposed to be right here. Oh, I see it! Right on the side of old US 90. Look at this. This is Joe Dilandros' House of Lights, a folk art institution. This did not exist back in my old band touring days, and so I've never had a chance to see this, as I have never come this way during the Random Land times. Unfortunately, the gate is closed at the moment, but look at this. Look at all these amazing glass insulators. Joe has been, I hope I didn't butcher his last name there, he's been installing these on his property since 2012, from what I understand, and so many people have recommended that I make a stop here. Look at this. Welcome to look. Watch for rattlesnakes, but the gate is locked. I don't think Joe is at home. That's okay. Look at this. Got some trees back here, some bottle trees. There's glass insulators all over everything. I love this sign here. Danger. Red ants. I love stuff like this so much. We got another rattlesnake warning on the fence here. Little hand-painted sign. Look at all these amazing statues. Got some chrome skulls out here. All kinds of sundials, and I love this. These are part of every kind of folk art institution. The old school metal. What are they? Cast iron, pressed steel? Tonka trucks? You got the Virgin Mary right here. Oh, there is a little donation box, and look at this. YouTube, House of Lights, Joe Dilandro. Dilandro, maybe? I love this. Look at the old signal lights there. Some fish nets and floats. We got an octopus. A little nautical nonsense going on. The lighthouse. This is amazing. Now, clearly, Joe is an artist. I don't know if he is a professional artist or this is just a hobby of his, but this is incredible. This is amazing. Look at all these old school glass insulators, pieces of old cast iron and wrought iron. I love all the recycled junk turned into what I would consider as a masterpiece. Oh, you got some skulls right there. You got some cow skulls, both fake and real. But they look real anyways. On the fence, very Texas appropriate. I can see some pretty cool old buildings back here on the property. That is awesome. I love that. The thing about me living in Southern California, why I've never constructed anything similar myself, even though I am such a huge fan of this aesthetic, I don't own any land. I don't have any land. There is no land in Southern California. It's not spoken for or very expensive. If I had some land, oh, the things I would build. I love this. The little rosary here. So cool. It's almost like a little roadside shrine. But look at the sheer amount of old school glass insulators. Those are for power lines and power poles. You can actually see them above us. You see where the wire goes over the pole. They're touching modern ceramic insulators. It just keeps fires from happening or sparks or whatever. But in the old days, they were made of glass, and every kind of local municipality would have different colors, different shapes, different sizes. They weren't as uniform as they are today. Oh, look at this, a bunch of hood ornaments down here too. Gotta watch for those rattlesnakes they're talking about. Hood ornaments and lights. There's even some doorknobs. I just noticed that, a lot of glass doorknobs here. But yeah, these old glass insulators are featured here on these like trees and sculptures and crosses. Got some old gas station signs, some Pegasus. Pegasi? How do you, what's plural for Pegasus? I love this. Love the sound of the old highway going by. And this cool folk art. What's in the cage here? Oh no! The bird, not the bird. I love all the little statuary, everything from Egyptian to a collection of glass chickens. In fact, there's a big old hen down there. I think my friend Julio would love her. Oh no, look at this. Fart. Apparently, this is the grave of a cat named Fart. I'm sorry for the language. I did not name the cat that. Look at all these insulators. This is awesome. Like I said, I've been driving all day long, and so I was feeling a little bit bored and a little bit like, starting to feel a little road weary. This restoreth my soul. Look at that. That's so cool. I don't know what that is right down there. Old iron pieces. You got your big old flywheel maybe, or wagon wheel. Is that Scarlett O'Hara right there? Got some Avon ladies. And even Pinocchio. I love this because this is not on a main highway. We're probably 20, 25 minutes south of I-10. And we're on old US 90, which is now the business route between Gonzales and Seguin. Oh, by the way, in these jars here, I just noticed the nodding solar statues. There's even a little dancing hula girl one in there. So this is not on a busy highway. This is not like someone who did this just expecting every tourist on Earth to find it or to stop. It's just one artist's personal playground. Let's see if we can zoom in there at max capacity. You can see some other statues and things kind of extending from the gateway here into the property. I'd love to come back here and explore the whole thing. It's easy for me to see with the naked eye from the fence. Harder to zoom in on, but I can see like some old water cannons, and I don't know, it's hard. I don't know if you can see that back in here. A bunch of cannons that seem to be constructed of other stuff. I don't know if they're firefighting cannons or cannonball shooting cannons, but there's some really cool statues hiding over here in the bushes. I'm just a little leery because of all the rattlesnake warnings, but it's pretty cold, so I think I'll be all right. Oh no, it says John. Did I keep saying Joe? I'm all messed up. I've been on the phone all day. But look at all this stuff here. All these license plates. Hubcaps. I love the old hubcaps. Ooh, look at this. There's a Mustang one right there. Old thermometers. Anything and everything. If you saw this all in a pile, you'd go, what is all this trash? When you see it arranged like this, it becomes art. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I, for one, find this particularly beautiful and inspiring. Got a little waving cat there. Look at all these masks. A lot of smile now, cry later theater masks over here. Strange little Egyptian statues. Nothing happened plaque. Classic. Some old roller skates. A Dudley stove cover. Some ladles. Lots of jangling in the wind. This is awesome. Man. Well, I'd love it if John... Why do I keep saying Joe? That's really going to bug me now. Joe, well, leave it in. Could edit these things, but why not leave in my honest mistake so you know that I am not as smart as I even appear to be. My memory's no good for names. But he doesn't appear to be home. Mr. Dilandro. How did I remember the last name and not the first name? I messed it all up. Oh, look at that. Almost like a little barbed wire windmill. However, the fence is not open. I'll have to content myself with the view from the road and I guess keep on going in a minute. I'm going to leave a little contribution in the little box. If I can find anything in the car, that is. I don't think I have any cash, but maybe. Hopefully I can find a couple of loose ones stashed away somewhere. I'm so impressed by this. This is so awesome. First the Abita Mystery House the other day in Louisiana. And now this, the House of Lights. Man, I'm definitely feeling the lack of land in my life. I need some land! So quiet and peaceful. In between very loud pickup trucks who gun it every time they see me. They're making me nervous. Making me very nervous out here. Ooh, that guy's seen better days. I don't know if you've ever stopped on the side of a small country road to look at anything weird, but there's always somebody who either drives by and honks as loud as they can, or guns their loud pipes as loud as they can to get a rise out of you. It's normal. Well, I've stood and gazed and admired for a while now. Guess I gotta keep on keeping on. I am proud of myself. I did pass one Buc-ee's in Luling about 25 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, and I did not stop. Gotta save some Buc-ee's for the rest of you guys, because I was about to Buc-ee it up all day. I set out on this journey because I knew that if I flew straight home from helping lay Adam to rest and doing all that, I know me well enough to know that I would just spiral down, get depressed, stare at the walls, get totally unmotivated. And I knew that if I drove home, I'd be forced to deal with myself, forced to process things. To be honest with you, I was not expecting to get stuck in a hotel in Louisiana for multiple days where I was trapped in four walls. I was really hoping to keep moving like today, where I can think about it and then have some interruptions in the form of Buc-ee's or stuff like this. But I guess all things considered, it was good. I did find out Adam's cause of death this past weekend. Medical examiner's report is public, so it's online. It was an enlarged heart that obviously, his heart was just too big. And it obviously happened over a period of years and years and years. So we can take this one valuable lesson away from it. Go to the doctor. Especially if you're feeling weird, if you're feeling slow and sluggish. Don't just assume you're just tired or you need a little more coffee. Go to the doctor, please. Please. I myself had discussed this with him a few times this past year when we were walking up and down hills in Astoria and doing the Back to the Future stuff. So he was a little slowed down like me. And he started asking me about my heart thing. When I told him to go to the doctor, I was like, dude, just check it out. They just glue a thing on you. No big deal. He did not like going to the doctor. He was planning on it. He was planning on going and get a whole physical within, just a couple weeks after he ended up passing away. He would have been in the doctor office. But they could have caught this years and years ago. So if there's one takeaway, and this totally devastated me yesterday, I'm trying to just not let it do that now. But if there is one takeaway, one silver lining, it would be, please, whoever you are, wherever you are, just go to the doctor. Just get the blood pressure test. Do it in the CVS if you have to. But if you're feeling weird especially, don't wait. Please do not wait. I think for now, that's really all I have to say about that. Fully reopened the wound. It was totally devastating. And if I think about it anymore right now, I'm just going to be devastated again. So it's time to keep driving. Time to keep on going. Well, since we are so close to Seguin, I've decided to keep on going down old US 90, westward, go into the old downtown, see what's going on there. We're not far from San Antonio now, relatively speaking. That's where we're gonna lay our weary head down for the night, the Royal R, I guess. First, Seguin. Just love seeing these old roadside stores and businesses, even though most are closed now. Ghosts of the past. There we go. There was a sign for the historic district dead ahead. Bet this part of town looks a lot different than it did when they first put in the U.S. highway. That's for sure. It's crazy because we take these roads and cars for granted. They are a totally modern invention. In fact, Route 66, like many of the numbered U.S. highways, turns 100 this year. So they've barely been around for a century. Before these roads, before the national highway system, most towns just weren't even connected except by wagon paths or old toll roads that weren't paved. They weren't numbered. Pretty hard to find your way. Pretty wild. Back then you would have done anything to be and stay connected to people. Now you can't avoid it. Now you have to work hard to get away from people, get a little breath of fresh air, get your thoughts to yourself like I'm doing now. But even in a winter storm in Louisiana or driving across Central Texas, I'm getting phone calls from other countries, phone calls from California. That would blow the people's minds that lived here when they first laid down this highway. That is for sure. Still making my way towards the old historic district. Look at this. K-Wed. 1580. Look at that little radio station right there. The little tiny transmitting tower. Starting to see some older houses along the way into town. I think we're getting close. Oh yeah, here we are. Downtown Historical District. Time to pull over and get out of the car. Dude, always look for the brown signs when you go anywhere. I always pull over for brown signs when and wherever I can. All the historic districts, these brown signs are very useful. Same thing with any sign denoting an old historic district. That's where you're going to see the best buildings and of course the most unique and original architecture. We have a real problem nowadays in 2026. Everything they build now just looks the same, you know, everywhere. Walmarts look the same, McDonald's all look the same. Unfortunately, this fine Tuesday afternoon, it looks like the Heritage Museum is already closed. So I love about old towns in America and buildings before the highway system, especially the interstate highway system, kind of brought everything in proximity to each other. Back then, from town to town, you could see so much different architecture. Way more local building materials are used. So in Texas, you see a lot of that sandy colored brick and stone. Look at this stone right here. It's classic Old West construction right there. Look at that. Look at that little water spigot right there with the moon and the star. Is that a lone star? Is that for Texas? I don't know. And look at this across the street. This looks like an old city hall or maybe a courthouse. Probably the county courthouse. Very Art Deco looking. And that is what I was looking for, because for us roadside admirers, fans of highway history, roadside Americana, Seguin has a very notable claim to fame that cannot be ignored. Oh yeah, look at this. Very 1930s, maybe 40s looking. The Guadalupe County Courthouse. We're right on the edge of the Guadalupe River down here, right on the old Spanish Trail. One of the earliest routes crisscrossing the country. Look at that, Cabeza de Vaca. Francisco Vasquez Corona, Alonso de Leon, Diego Ramon. There's the county courthouse, and right in front of it I found exactly what I have been looking for. Because behold, Seguin is home of the world's largest pecan, or the world's former largest pecan. Either way, would you look at the size of that nut? There's some pretty nutty history down here. It says Cabeza de Vaca traveled the River of Nuts, which was the Guadalupe. He was the first European to record the existence of pecans. He noticed they were good food and recognized alternate bearing. He was held captive for 9 years on the River of Nuts, where he had ample opportunity to observe the growth and fruiting habits of pecans. I've heard pecan, pronounce it any way you want. You know, mostly these days you hear about them in Georgia, pecan pie, but they're gonna have to fight Texas for the pleasure of being the capital of the pecan. This was at one time the world's largest pecan right here. It has since been supplanted numerous times, including once or twice in this very town. But there's the original world's largest. I love that. It is now notable for being the world's oldest, world's largest pecan. Dude, look at this town. It's gorgeous downtown here. Got a little beauty school right there. In these old buildings. A lot of storefronts are closed up, but some are still holding out. Quite a few very handsome old buildings, mid-century and otherwise, here around the courthouse in the courthouse square. Look at this guy over the door. Wisdom. We could all use a little of that. Look at this bizarre old metal turnstile here in front of the courthouse, just preserved. This fence doesn't block anyone from going anywhere. Look at this. It's an old wrought iron turnstile. There's an old Confederate monument here. I have yet to see anything. I've been looking all around the building for a date for this courthouse. I guess I could look it up, but that'd be cheating. However, look at this. Look at this park on the other side of the courthouse. Got a beautiful bandstand out here. Downtown Seguin. Getting a little breezy and cold again as the sun gets low in the sky, but still in the high 40s or low 50s. Look at this fountain. It's hard to even place what era that's from. It could be very Art Deco looking, I suppose. Could be very 1950s, could be older. There's an old hotel back there in the background, old church. Oh, and a statue. I'm gonna butcher this middle name, but it says Juan Nepomuceno Seguin. October 27th, 1806 to August 27th, 1889. There's a quote from him here that says, "I embraced the cause of Texas at the report of the first cannon which foretold her liberty. Filled an honorable situation in the ranks of the conquerors of San Jacinto, and was a member of the legislative body of the Republic of Texas." He's a Texas founding father. Pretty cool statue. Look at that sword. Very appropriately for a town that prides itself on its nuts. A squirrel. Just admiring the old Palace Theater marquee down there. And then look at this store here. I think that says Starkey. Or maybe Stark. Serving South Texas since 1910. Stark Furniture. Starkey Furniture. Very cool. More stores here. Some very old west looking. Some a little more modern. Not a bad stop. I love these. I love old downtown murals. This one's from 2008 by somebody named McCarthy. Old Stagecoach Road through Seguin, Texas, being celebrated here. I love that. This fella right here is apparently Jack Hayes, Texas Ranger from these parts. The old Stagecoach Road route ran in the middle to late 1800s along this street past the old ranger station. Well, we're looking at the old Stagecoach route. The old Western Stagecoach route. Look at this old building here. Dance studio upstairs, a little store downstairs. Awesome. Before we leave the historic district, I should point out this shop over here. This building, built in 1917, is the Father Christmas shop. Closed up right now, but handy to have a year-round Christmas shop. I assume it's year-round. Maybe it is just seasonal, but I don't think so. Father Christmas looks pretty permanent in there. Hello. Wow. It says they are closed temporarily today, but they will reopen in July 2026. Look at that. It's like the North Pole in there. I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Magnolia Hotel on Crockett Street over here, or Crockett and Donegan, since about 4 people, including a sheriff's deputy, told me, "Oh, did you see the haunted hotel yet?" This is supposedly very, very haunted. The side of it looks like there might be some apartments over there. Kind of a bummer to live in a haunted hotel. Maybe I'm misinterpreting the signs down there. Established in 1844 originally as a 2-room log cabin in 1840, by Texas Ranger James Campbell, co-founder of the town. The first hotel and stagecoach shop for the town. Man, it looks in good repair right now. National Register of Historic Places. I guess they do guided historical tours. So maybe it's not apartments. Maybe I definitely misinterpreted that. Look at this old post on the corner. You think that's an old mile post? Or an old hitching post? Not sure. See, maybe these were hotel room entrances. But see the air conditioners? Huh. I guess this version was built in 1850. Oh, it's an Airbnb now, offering monthly guided ghost tours as well. All right, as much as I hate to forego the pleasure of looking through Funky Monkey Mercantile over there. Antiques and collectibles and more. The sun is now getting quite low in the sky, and it's time for me to at least start moving out of town towards San Antonio. There's something there I remember. This is a cool town though, and I haven't shown you 1/10 of the awesome old buildings in it. Look at this, even up this little highway on the way out. Amazing buildings. Gorgeous. And not just the old west ones. Look at this old restored filling station right here, now called the Wayside. Couple of neat old gas stations, actually. Then beautiful, absolutely gorgeous houses. Dude, like, look at that. That big Queen Anne house. Where was all the money coming from? Cattle? Pecans? I don't know, but whatever that thing is over there by that factory sure looks almost like a roller coaster. And I am loving how many preserved old filling stations and gas stations are here, being reused for other purposes rather than torn down. I like that. I am headed back up towards and past the interstate, which is where we gotta go, but not just yet. There's still one more stop to make in town. Just gonna keep going up this highway, Texas Highway 123, no less. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see what I hope to see, but I've gotta make an attempt. All right. This is what I was looking for right here. The Texas Agricultural Education and Heritage Center. Just a little black cat running around. There's a bunch of historic buildings back here and a museum, which I do not think is open, as you can see here. This whole place looks very much closed. But supposedly I don't need to go into the museum to see. There it is. There it is. So you saw the former world's largest pecan. Well, apparently that was eventually beat out by another pecan in a different town. But Seguin did not take that lying down, and in 2011, if I remember correctly, they built themselves a new world's largest pecan. Look at the size of that thing. Fittingly located right across the walkway from the entrance to the Pecan Museum of Texas. This is a 16-foot long, 8-foot wide, and therefore probably 8-foot tall pecan here that finally won the title back. They lost it in the 1980s, recovered it in 2011, and apparently just last year lost it again to an even bigger pecan somewhere else in Texas, making this now, sadly, the world's second largest pecan. But they have not updated the sign, so I'm just going to pretend that this is the world's largest. It's the largest one I've ever seen. Apparently 80% of the world's supply is grown in the United States, and Texas is number 3 in production. So I don't know what other states are ahead of it. The signs are not exactly proclaiming who and where they have been bested. Look at this thing, dude. Everything is bigger in Texas. There's the biggest nut I ever seen. Unless I've seen a bigger one that I can't remember, but look at the size of it! You want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts! Anyway, you can see this Agricultural Heritage Center has got some buildings out here, some historic buildings, a whole little village going on. They got the Pecan Museum, the world's largest pecan, as far as this town's concerned. If I ever have occasion to come back this way again, I'm hoping this place would be open, because there's not very many things I like more than an old historic museum where they have repurposed and recycled old historic buildings, which are on the other side of the property. Got this big old red barn out here for rent for weddings and such like. So if you want to get married out here in this beautiful view, head on down. All right, I gotta head into San Antonio. It's now just after 5 o'clock. Well, it's almost 6 o'clock actually. The roads are jam-packed with people already. Texas has grown so much since I lived here briefly in 2002 into 2003. Back then, there were cities that were wide apart that are now just connected ad nauseum by new housing developments and everything. Crazy. So I'm going to leave you here just within sight of the world's largest pecan, or former largest, whatever it may be. This last month and a half has been quite a strange journey. The one good thing is I've already gotten 5 or 6 phone calls today from people who have gone to the doctor because of what happened to our friend, and I've actually found out some disturbing stuff that they're going to take care of. So if there's any kind of immediate silver lining, so it's been a wake-up call for a lot of people. I've had some bad days lately, some good days. Today was a mostly good day. So thank you for coming along with me. It's helped a lot. If you want to know how to support the show, it's all down in the description. Come out to Seguin, Texas. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool little town. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll see you next time.
For now, you've done your duty. You can
Go home and sleep well. Hey, is that a pecan?
Yes! Texas!